Hi manifestors, Meera Allen with your Manifesting Destiny Moon Update. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I do a new moon and a full moon update, and in between each week I do a video on manifesting tips that have helped my life that'll hopefully help your life. All right, let's get into this full moon in Virgo that we're coming up to. The time for that will be London, 7th of March at 12:40 p.m. in the afternoon. Sydney, Australia, 7th of March at 11:40 at nighttime. LA, 7th of March at 4:40 a.m. and New York, 7:40 in the morning. So you can always look up though where in the world you are at the time that your full moon is for you. Now, full moon in Virgo. I wore this little red dress because of this Virgo earthy goddess feeling as well. You know, Virgo is a beautiful earth sign that is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. But when we look at the actual sign of the Virgo, the Virgin goddess, you know, she's very detailed and she's got a certain organization and a certain structure that flows for her. So what does that mean for you this full moon? We've come from a new moon in Pisces, and that was 2 weeks ago almost, and now we're coming to this full moon in Virgo. What have you noticed in yourself over the last fortnight of your life? What's come up for you, and what has your body communicated to you? What have you felt you've needed? What have you thought about? What have you really gravitated towards, whether it's things that you need to do for exercise, things that you need to do for your diet, foods that you need, self-care for the body that you require. So just notice what has been your focus, whether it's been mentally communicating with you or whether you've actually taken action steps to really hone in on what it is that you need for your emotional and physical body to be at a organized and flowing and earthy, grounded, healthy state. You know, Virgo is an earth sign, so it's still quite practical and detail orientated, but because it's this full moon illuminated in Virgo, it really is about your emotional body being taken care of, and your physical body the vehicle for that. And what are the earthly steps that you require to make sure that your spiritual and your emotional cup are very feeling full and organized? You know, does that mean in an earthy practical way, you've got to schedule in a new routine for your meditation practice or your yoga practice or your journal writing, or that whatever that is that you need to give you that structure as a daily routine that you can commit to, that gives you those Virgo organization details that make you feel emotionally and spiritually super nourished. You know, we often schedule time for, we schedule our work time, we schedule our accountants, we schedule our, you know, practical day-to-day things. But how often do we diarize or schedule in and time block in a really practical and organized way for our self-care, for our meditation practice, for our manifesting time, for our time to just be, for, you know, time in nature? You know, how do we schedule those things in so that it becomes part of that fine detail that we're used to? You know, for me, I've noticed over this last fortnight, I've made a serious commitment about weekly massage, and it's not a negotiable for me now on. This is it. I have to get a massage every single week. I'm not going to drop it to fortnight. I've got to keep it going as a weekly self-care part of my own practice. And now that that's a non-negotiable, I know I now have that scheduled in, and it's become just part of what my physical body needs to get to that emotional equilibrium so that I feel overflowing and I've got enough to give to my clients each week. So what is it for you that you need to have a look at in your scheduling? Is it the timing of when you eat? Is it what you eat? Is it having a decision that there's something that you're going to clear out of your diet out of your life? Is it something as simple as uptaking water? What are these Virgo little details? Is it a matter of cleaning out the fridge and not having these access to those foods or drinks or whatever it is anymore, and just cleaning out the pantry in a really detailed way? That's a very Virgo thing to do. I'm actually getting my car professionally cleaned tomorrow, and that's just another part of that scheduling of those Virgo little details that make me feel really spiritually nourished. What's that sentence? Cleanliness is next to godliness, and yoga we call that saucha, that it's not just the cleanliness of our external environment, it's the cleanliness of the internal environment. Virgo is a great time. A Virgo full moon is a great time to communicate quietly to your body and listen to what your body is telling you it needs. For me, it was really, I went and had cupping and it was intense, but I needed that deep shift of energy. Normally pressurizing massage is pushing in, pushing in, pushing in. And I didn't realize I actually needed that drawing out feeling to shift blood into those areas that I didn't even realize I was holding so much, So where can you do things a little differently? Where can you schedule things in so that you can be like that Virgo fine-tooth comb that's, taking out all the knots, and it's taking out all the tangles, and it's cleaning out the system, it's cleaning out the fridge, it's cleaning out the car, or whatever it is for you, that you go, okay, these are the little fine-tooth little details that are now are non-negotiables. I can now, in an organized and planned manner, schedule these in for my spiritual nourishment, for my physical health and well-being. I know for me, I need the ocean 3 to 4 times a week in the mornings. Like, before I did this video, I had a swim, and, it felt amazing. I needed to get in there. And that gives me this energy and equilibrium that I cannot explain it, in a way that makes exact logical sense. But for my emotional body and for my spiritual well-being, it does wonders. So what is it for you, that time in nature? What is it, that time for manifesting, that time for meditation, that time for listening to the body, the gym time or the exercise time, or whatever your commitment is going to be? How can you schedule this in to be from this full moon, like literally from Tuesday afternoon, this is coming up. Where can you schedule this moving forward so that your long-term spiritual body and emotional body are tended to? It's just commitment and regularity. That's all it really is. And once you've got that in your schedule, it just becomes part of your character. It becomes part of who you are, and it becomes part of your reality. And you start to see that nourishment from both an emotional level, a spiritual level, which always trickles in to your life, into your physical level, into your well-being. So the next thing that I wanted to bring up was, we've had Saturn in Aquarius, for the last 28 years. And that's shifted. That's come to a period of completion as well. So what do you want to have a look at from the bigger perspective, not just from the last, fortnight of your life, where you look at from that new moon in Pisces to this full moon in Virgo? What has your body been telling you? How have you been communicating? Virgo ruled by Mercury, the planet of communications. What's communicated to you over this last fortnight that's been polarized, that you've noticed? What have your conversations been around that you've noticed? Then, or even your internal dialogue, then we contrast that. What does this last 28-year chapter look like for you in your lessons you've learned, in the bigger karmic picture? I didn't know I was going to go this intense today, by the way, just coming through. What is that over this last 28-year chapter that you've gone, right, I finished that Saturn chapter, and now I've got the resilience and the learning from that. It's a big chapter that's shifted. When Saturn moves signs, it's no joke. It's a feeling of completion and closure. Where are there big, mammoth changes happening that you can see without a shadow of a doubt inside you as a person, or even your physical environment, or big moves or shifts or completion of relationships and things. Like, where does that come up for you? You know, what have you learned resilience wise in yourself over the last 28 years? You know, it's a big chapter when Saturn moves, you know, slow moving planet. All right, now, while you're thinking on that, I'm going to do one card for today. So this is from the Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. I'm not sponsored, I just think she's rad. And let's just call this in for the collective with this full moon in Virgo. What is it that we need to know for guidance in our higher selves? Oh, trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Just going to hold that up. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? What a beautiful card. You know, and it really shows this evolutionary path. You know, it kind of goes up in stages like Monet's paintings, you know, like the water lilies, like going up in that sound. So have a look at that again. Where has your life been that path where you've been guided in the right way? Where has that been for you? You know, how has it taken you? How did you trust your path through all its trials and tribulations? And I love that it's the path, you know, and if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? It's still an earthy thing. You think about a dirt road, a path, a ground, your next step forward. It's very Virgo. Virgo is those little, tiny little details in each of the next steps that you take to make that tapestry of life as you move forward. It's pretty cool. If you were supported, what would you do? What would be your next right step if that virgin goddess held you by the hand and was telling you, you know what? This is the next right step in your path. What would you do? How would you feel if you were 100% supported? What a lovely card. Anyway, happy full moon in Virgo. Hope all that made sense for you. Hydrate, drink your water, do all those little detaily little things for your emotional and your spiritual body, and organize those, diarize those into your weeks and manifest the destiny that you love. Now, if this was helpful for you, please subscribe. If you want to comment, let me know. What have you been working on? I'm curious about the collective. Like, what have you guys been going, wow, I've been practically working on this for my emotional body or my physical body. Like, what have you guys been actually working on that you've noticed, especially since that new moon in Pisces to now, this last fortnight period? What has come up for you? I'm curious to find out what's going on in the world. Are we all on the same frequency? Because for me, it was definitely getting that weekly massage, doing the self-care, you know, clearing out any toxin, getting rid of sugar, like completely shifting, you know. So what has it been for you? That's a practical way to look after and nourish your spiritual and your emotional body. Very curious. Have a beautiful, beautiful full moon in Virgo. Namaste.